Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of DudeWutPodcast. My name's Harry Dowling, and this time I am joined once again by my good friend Mr Callum Hamby. How the hell you doing, bro?
Good. Happy to be on. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Good.
It's good to see. I know you guest on these like a whole lot, but I always really enjoy it when you come on. And it's usually a pretty good time.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it if I didn't have fun.
Yeah, you didn't sound so sure then, bro. Like, yeah. What have you been up to this week, man?
Oh, it's been a pretty mundane week. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
Not an awful lot has happened. I've had a good weekend of just chilling out. Doing some tidying around the house. Honestly, man, it's been boring as hell. Nothing's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You know what would have spiced it up a little bit this weekend?
If I'd come on Xbox.
If you'd have fucking come on Xbox, dude. This guy, for like the last 3 days, is messaging me like, come on, please come on tonight, man. Come on, we'll have fun, come on. And then 2 or 3 days in a row, I'm like, where the hell are you, man? And he's like, oh, not tonight.
Oh,
watching stuff.
You just get like, we just started like watching a few things on Netflix, and then,
What are you watching?
We started watching Afterlife.
The Ricky Gervais thing.
Yeah. Interestingly, we used to live like so. I told you. I haven't told you.
Tell me what.
Did I tell you I walked through the set of Afterlife, and I saw Ricky Gervais? So like, we used to live in Hemel Hempstead. That's where we used to live a couple of years ago, and we just moved there, and I had to like go to the estate agent to like hand in like our like ID and like signed contract for our new house or flat.
Oh yeah.
I know you don't know Hemel, but like it's where they filmed the whole first season of Afterlife, or like the street and stuff. And I walked like down this alleyway, which is in the show, down the back of this pub. I can't remember what it's called, and there was like people walking around with like clipboards and stuff, and I was like, what the hell's going on here? And I was like, whatever. So I crossed the road, and then I saw like I didn't even know about this show at that time because it only had like one season, and I just saw Ricky Gervais walking down the street, like on the other side of the street to me, and I was like, what the hell? Like, and then like there's obviously cameras and things, and he was in the middle of like recording and stuff, and he's wearing the outfit that he wears in the first season, obviously, because they were filming the first or second season. I can't remember which.
Okay, yeah.
And I went to the estate agent, and I was like, I just saw Ricky Gervais, and she was like, oh yeah, they're filming like a Netflix show. I was like, oh, cool. And I actually took a picture of him, and that's pretty. My girlfriend always takes the mic because it's such a crap photo. Because I was trying to take it like really slyly without being so like bait about it.
Yeah.
And this car went past at the same time, so I basically got a picture somewhere of like the top of Ricky Gervais's head, and I was like, I swear to God, it was Ricky Gervais. Oh yeah. Sorry, I went on a tangent there.
No, like I have a pretty bad picture of a celebrity as well. I've got a picture of the back of Keith Lemon as he uses it.
I remember you sent me that
from where I used to live. Yeah.
I remember you sent me that, and I was like, "Are you sure this Keith Lemon?"
Yeah, I looked out my window, and there's Keith Lemon just full on using the cash point, cash as anything, dressed as Keith Lemon, because it's Lee Francis' his name.
They were filming
the actor or whatever,
filming through the keyhole, weren't they? Yeah.
They were filming through the keyhole, and they were going to Toya Wilcox's house, who I used to live opposite, and I'm pretty sure like people went over there to sort of ask for a picture and stuff, and he was just like, nah.
Yeah.
And just using the cash point.
Well, the thing with Ricky Gervais, it was like they were literally in the middle of like filming, like in between like shots. So it's like, I can't really ooh, like it's just like
just run over.
Well, I was amazed that like I was able to just walk through the set, like because they obviously shut what they did was they shut the ends of the roads off. But the thing is, I didn't come from the ends of the roads. I came through like an alleyway, and I just walked out into the set. But nobody said anything.
Imagine if you'd been caught like in the background or something. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, like
you'd have to be credited as being on a Netflix show. It's like our friend Robbo is credited. He's got an IMDb page where he's credited as being on an episode of Wife's Tale.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good times. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I can't believe I hadn't told you that before, to be honest.
No, that sounds like it was ages ago as well.
It was like 20, it would have been like 28, no, when did we move to, I want to say like 2018.
Yeah.
2019,
I think that show was like 2018, 2017.
I think it was. I think they were filming the second season. I think because like it wasn't an unknown show, and I remember like reading up about it after. But then I've only actually started watching it like now because like I just haven't. Because the last season came out, I was like, oh, I probably should watch it. It's good. It's pretty like it's pretty dreary. It's
pretty down,
but it's good. It is good. It's a good show.
Yeah, I do have a few people that have told me to watch it, to be honest, and I just just haven't got around to it.
It's not It's
not like a balls out comedy.
No, not at all. Like it is funny in parts.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's not the best thing he's done, but it's good. It's good.
Okay, cool. That sounds pretty good, man. So yeah, man, you missed out on some banging sessions on the old Warzone with myself and Mr. Tomo Tomlinson. We had some real good games. We played with a few Randys, and one of the Randys, I swear, was one of these like hacker boys, because he just wouldn't go down. I swear, like he died once, and it was right at the end. He was just zipping around the map, basically. Well, not literally, but running the whole time, just cleaning up. It's insane.
Yeah.
Chad, his name was.
Chad.
Yeah, good old Chad. Yeah, slapping down. Speaking of games, I've been playing the Hitman games. They just got added to Game Pass.
Oh yeah.
There's like Hitman 3, and you've got Hitman 2 and 1 in that bundle. And I thought I had played some of those Hitman games, or the newer ones. I don't remember anything about them, so I'm really enjoying just playing those games. I think they're very cool games.
Yeah.
They're developed by
Square Enix.
Is it, or is it like IO Interactive or something?
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. I always thought it was Square Enix.
Because I thought that it was. I know, or I'm pretty sure, that the company that make those Hitman games are developing a James Bond game.
Oh, are they? Okay.
And yeah, like a completely new James Bond game. And if it is anything like those Hitman games, it's going to be pretty good.
It's been a while since we've had a James Bond game. That's not,
Yeah. Well, there's a trailer for it. There's a James Bond game coming out. There's also an Indiana Jones game coming out, which, I'm pretty pumped for both of those games.
Yeah.
There's only a little teaser so far, but I'm pretty pumped for both of those games. Been getting Fee playing some more games and things, which is really cool. I think tonight, actually, as soon as we finish this pod, she's going to start Skyrim.
Oh, I keep on, you know what? Because my girlfriend's been playing like RuneScape a fair bit.
Yeah.
And I've played Skyrim so many times, and I kind of just don't want to play it again. But I said to her, I was like, I don't mind like getting you set up on it and just watching you play. Like, I wouldn't mind that. But yeah, I keep on meaning to do it. So basically, we've got like an Xbox One upstairs and my Series X downstairs. I think if you can play on like both of them like with cloud saves, can't you? I think. Like, as in if you...
So. Yeah.
So I said, like, you could play it upstairs.
Because it's the same account. It's the same account.
Yeah, it's just a... Yeah, so I keep on saying to her that she should play it. She would love it, if she played it. But...
Yeah, well, me and Fee have been playing a lot of two-player games, and I said to her the other day, I was like... Well, I said this in the last pod, because I've been listening through them. I was like, there's great stories. Like, come on, just play something single-player, and I'll be happy to just sit there and watch you play it. And I think last night... it got pretty late, but I made her watch 3 trailers. So Skyrim trailer, the Witcher 3 trailer, and the first Tomb Raider 2013 trailer. And I was like, which one do you want to play? And I think she's already actually played a little bit of the Tomb Raider game like years back. But she was like, yeah, let's go Skyrim. And I was like, well, you're gonna love it because I played as a big cat man the last time I played it, so like you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it didn't finish downloading until 5 to midnight last night, and it's a school night, so we just didn't play it.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we don't talk for like 3.5 hours or some shit this time, and Fee can start it tonight.
She can start without you.
Yeah, well, yeah, she totally could. And the thing is, I kind of want to get her to that point where she comes home and I'm not there, and she just wangs the Xbox on and just like carries on and stuff.
Yeah,
I think that's really cool. Yeah, as I said, I'm listening through the old episodes. I think I'm on episode 7 or 8 now. I've listened through... No, 8 was the first episode with Fiona on it, Coyote Ugly, which was actually a very fun episode. And actually, I was I had originally planned for Fiona to be on the episode today. We had a whole sort of concept for the episode, but obviously, like as soon as we finished recording last week, this big old deal went down, like the biggest deal in the history of gaming, and I thought, like, we got to talk about it. So that's what me and Hamby are going to talk about a bit later on in this pod, is obviously the sort of Activision acquisition. But before we move on, I just want to say I have had I've had a lot of really good interactions recently with other podcasters on Instagram. As I said, Instagram is, as for someone who doesn't really know how to use it, it's so much better than Facebook for like promoting stuff. A lot of the communities on Facebook I found to be like really petty and like, hey, UK podcaster group, I can't remember if that's your name, but stop fucking blocking my posts, yo. We're all trying to help each other out. Like, you blocking my posts all the time. But on Instagram, you can put a post out, and you'll get loads of other podcasters like comment, and like, you know, it's cool to have all these little interactions. Anyway, I had a cool little chat with Lee and Tim from the Popcorn Podcast. So, big shout out to the Popcorn Podcast. They basically they just love films and all thing films, and they're actually getting really big. They have interviews with like Hugh Jackman, Jamie Lee Curtis, like big actors. They go to like all the premieres, and I think it was Lee I was having a chat with, and I just said, look, like, I'm a tiny podcast, but I will by all means give you guys a shout out. So check out Popcorn Podcast. They are currently trying to reach a goal of 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you listen to this podcast and you like this podcast, definitely head over there, subscribe, and because it's really good. And they seem like absolutely lovely people. So big thanks, Popcorn Podcast, for liking a lot of our stuff as well.
Absolutely.
Last little bit of news, which is so last minute, is that I've had a pretty bad day with bike issues today. I'm cycling a lot, mate. Like, back tire exploded, crank arm fell off. I fully had to get rescued by Fee tonight, like a couple of hours ago, literally. Bad times, bro.
Shit, man.
Gonna be bussing it for a while, I think.
Oh,
till the weather gets a bit nicer anyway.
How long is it going to take to get to like bus it to work? Must take ages.
It's not bad. It's like 40 minutes.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad at all.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's one bus as well. It just whether it's on time or whatnot. I've done it before. Like when it's too icy to cycle, I will just get the bus. I should say, if you don't already know, that I am a biker, but I take my bike off the road for like about 3 or 4 months a year because it's just too hazardous to be skidding around out there. Anyway, Hamby, if you haven't got anything else to add for what you've done this week, I don't know if you do.
No, nothing else, no.
Then let's jump straight into everybody's favourite segment. It's What Are We Drinking?
What are we drinking?
Okay, on this What Are We Drinking, Hamby, I knew you were coming back on, right? So I went and got an Aldi special. You're the king of the Aldi special.
I haven't been to Aldi for a few weeks, actually. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, all right then. Yeah, well, usually I let the guest go first.
Mine's not that exciting.
Okay, I'll go first. So, I like the sort of craft beers and things like that, and so I went to Aldi and had a little look around, and yeah, there's a lot of like knockoff ales and things. I kind of just didn't fancy an ale. Me and Fee went for a really nice meal earlier this week, and it was almost like she was trying to get me drunk. It was like pint after pint of something called Twilighters IPA. I don't know if you've ever had that.
No, I've not seen it. Where'd you go to eat?
So it's at a chain called Ember Inns, but actually it was like a pub just down the road from me called the Old Hare and Hounds, and my manager at work sent me like a coupon to have 50% off, like all meals and things. So we were just like, yeah, fuck it, let's go have a nice meal. Fee had a big steak, I had a massive burger, and yeah, it's delicious.
Can't go wrong.
But anyway, I drank a lot of this sort of ale, which was like, it was like a Tetley's sort of thing, but it was an ale.
Oh, I hate Tetley's.
Yeah, it had like a foamy head, which was weird. But Anyway, so I drank a lot of ales. I didn't really want to drink anymore, so I went to Aldi. I was having a little look. I looked at the little craft beers, and then on the shelf below there was like fruit infused beers.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I was gonna say I'm a fruity boy then. I like a bit of fruit, so I saw this. It's called Sharp Tongue Grapefruit IPA.
Oh, that sounds like my worst nightmare. I hate like fruity beers.
I really like fruity beers, and I especially love grapefruit IPAs. So, it's by the Hop Foundry, which I imagine is probably like a specifically brewed for Aldi kind of place. A lot of those are. It's in a cool sort of can. I mean, yellow and green. Like, what does that bring to mind? I don't know, like Norwich Football Club or something.
Yeah, Norwich are yellow and green. Yeah. I thought you hated football. So.
I do. Yeah, I do hate football. It's that Fee's oldest sister's husband, so Fee's brother-in-law, is like football mad, and it's like Norwich everything. I'm pretty sure if his missus would let him, he would paint the walls green and yellow and stuff. So I'm going to crack this, and I'll have a little swig and let you know how it is. I was just looking then to see what it's a 4%. That's what I was looking for. 4%. Let's crack it open. It's ice cold. Oh my god, it's going everywhere! Oh! Okay, yeah, that's nice.
Bad.
Right, well, let's crack it open. All I got was foam then. So foamy. It's alright. It's definitely it is definitely sharp. Tangy. Maybe a bit too grapefruity, actually. That one.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of like the fruity beers. I've got to be honest. Never have been. Don't know why.
I really like fruity beers, but like that to me is fizzy grapefruit juice.
Yeah.
I can't even taste any beer in that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll drink it. It's refreshing. It's really refreshing, but it's. I almost feel like they shouldn't market it as an IPA. It's like an Alco pop, you know. It's all right. It's not very nice, really. I said it's all right. Yeah. I'm gonna have to give that like a 2 out of 10 or something. That is a massive letdown, and it went all over me. So Hammers, just bear with me like one hot minute while I grab a towel. Like genuinely, this is a towel situation. All right, Mr. Hamby, I am back, and I am dry. Let's see what you got to drink.
Yeah, so I think I've had this on the podcast before. I'm pretty sure I have anyway, because I buy it most weekends. When I'm about, I buy it. It's Paulaner Münche Hell. It's a Munich lager.
Yeah, I have seen you drink that before.
Very, very nice lager. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lovely lager, and I buy it. I buy a case of it now and again. And yeah, it's nice. It's not too. Honestly, it's not got much to it. It's just a bog standard German lager. So it's like a pale lager, like that's what the hell bit means.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's delicious. It's just very, very refreshing. Not really much more to say about that. It's one of my favourite lagers. So yeah, I'll give it a good.
So it looks like if I didn't read that, it looks to me like it's like a wheat beer from the sort of brown bottle, yellow label. Just no wheat beer to me.
No, it's yeah, it's not a wheat. It's not a wheat beer or a Weiss beer as they call them in Germany. It's it's like a light lager. So it's percentage wise, what is it? 4.9%. Honestly, I love it. I could easily drink like 2 or 3 of these bottles. Like, just,
and you buy those in like a big crate, did you say?
Yeah, I buy them like a crate and they last me like a couple of weeks because you get like, I don't know, like 10 or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just put them in the fridge and yeah, happy days.
Ah, fair play. Well, man, that's pretty good what we're drinking. I mean, I'm not even a bit, I'm very disappointed.
Yeah.
Why did I buy it?
I always stay well clear of those kind of beers, I'm not going to lie.
But I really like grapefruit. I love peach IPAs. I've said before, like, I think it's Thornbridge and Badger both do a delicious peach IPA. That's just gross. It's like somebody took like a Foster's and they went half Foster's, half grapefruit juice. That's what that tastes like.
It's probably not that far off what actually is.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, like it's rank, but like a dumbass, I didn't bring any other drinks up, so I like have to drink it throughout the course of this podcast.
I think the Aldi things are pretty hit or miss, but I think whenever I've gone to Aldi, I've always stuck with like either like the bog standard IPAs or like the lagers, because I'm like, you can't really go wrong with them. It's like like, you know, they'll you know, a lager is a lager, like really, like it's just
yeah. I guess like I'm always just trying to find something very weird or like unique or something, not necessarily for me. Like I'd just go straight IPA, normal IPA, or like a wheat beer, done, right?
Well, next time
I'm trying to keep it spicy, you know.
Next time I'm on, I'll send you a bottle of my favourite beer on Amazon. You have to give me...
I'm still waiting for that. You were our first ever guest, right? Episode 3. You were our first ever guest, and you say in that episode, "I'll send you a beer from Amazon."
Well, the thing is, you always give me like a day's notice, so I can never like order it in time. So, I'll send it to you, and then like you've got it for when.
All right. Yeah. Sounds real good. Sounds real good. Right on, man. That was a good. What we drinking?
What are we drinking?
All right, Hamby. You know what time it is, brother man.
Yeah.
It's time for Hamby's Hambone to pick, everybody.
He's pissed off, he's angry, his name must be Hamby. It's Hamby's Hambone to pick.
Yeah, so like a lot of people who have dogs, during the summer I'm pretty good with picking up my dog's poop. But in the winter, like I've gotten real lazy. And like basically like my dog is now kind of getting to the point where he's kind of like ran out of space to poop in the garden. Like he isn't like going on the grass anymore because it's too like long and wet and cold, so he's just started going on the patio. So the patio is just like I can't even walk on the patio, so it's well, it's not that bad, but like it's bad. That's my bone to pick, is that like, well, yeah, it's just the amount of dog shit in my garden. We had a good clear up at the weekend. We had a good clear up at the weekend and got like those two up. But before then, it was bad. It was like
bad, like get the pressure washer out bad.
Oh no, I will do in the spring. But like there was a few poops. This is kind of gross. There's a few like poops around that had like fur on them and stuff because like they've been there for so long.
Been there for so long.
Yeah, you must have had some of that with your dog.
Yeah.
You're like, but it's been there for so long that you're like, oh, I can't be asked to pick it up because it just looks like it's like freaking like furry.
See, I feel like maybe personally for us, it's like the other way around. It's like in summers when we get real like lax with it. The thing with winter is when it's really cold, you can just leave them out there, right? And because it's so cold, they freeze, and it's just easy as anything to get up.
Yeah, but in the summer I'm better because mainly because like I'm outside more, so I just pick it up as and when, and also because I mow the lawn like every couple weeks.
I guess, yeah.
I'm picking it up and stuff like that. But like 3 months of the winter, like we've just become so lazy.
Poor boy, poor dog.
He's fine. He's honestly like he's quite picky because like. He doesn't like he normally poops on the grass, but like obviously now it's like long and wet. He's like nah.
Nah. Well, man, that was a pretty good Hambone to pick. I like that one.
He's pissed off, he's angry, his name must be Hamby. It's Hamby's Hambone to pick.
All right, so as everybody knows, there's always a little bit of entertainment news in this podcast. I'm yet to get a jingle for it. You'll have to let me know. Send an email to dudewutpodcast@gmail.com. Should I make a jingle for it? Should I just have a piece of music, or should I get our pal Sean to do the voiceover? You know,
here's some entertainment news.
Because I don't know. I'm just a bit cautious that I'm getting too jingle heavy. But anyway, yeah, bit of news this week, man. Don't know if you've been seeing it. There's been quite a bit. Well, for me anyway, it's been quite a bit. First little bit of news. the Amazon Lord of the Rings show.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you know anything about it. Yeah. So it got a release date last year, which I'm pretty sure is actually Professor Tolkien's birthday. I think it's like September 22nd or something like that.
Yeah.
It's coming out this year. It is the most expensive TV show in history, coming in at like $1 billion for the first season.
Yeah.
Which is insane. I can't wait to see what it just looks like for $1 billion, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, they finally released a trailer and a title. So it's called The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. What do you think of that name? What do you think of that?
Oh, I haven't seen the trailer, but I saw the announced date.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm pretty hyped for it.
So if you haven't seen the trailer is actually really cool. It's like extremely micro. I don't know. It's extremely zoomed in.
That's
shots
micro.
Of like. Okay, yeah, but they look massive. This is what I was going to say.
Okay, so macro's big, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's like hot steel running through like channels in wood. So it looks like it's like water rushing across mountains and stuff because it's so zoomed in. And then it's like water splashing and fire and stuff. And it basically shows you that it is actually like all this steel making the words, the Rings of Power.
Mm.
And it looks really cool, right? And everyone was like, wow, the CG on that is absolutely top notch. This is going to look good. And then like a day later, they released a behind the scenes of how they made that. And it's actually all practical.
Yeah.
It's like 3 ironmonger blokes literally just making it all, pouring all the steel in and everything while like these cameras zoom in and fly past them and stuff. Really cool. Really cool. But yeah, the Rings of Power. Seriously looking forward to it. Please, Amazon, don't fuck this one up.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that.
Cool. A little bit of music news. Actually, it's the only music news I've got this week. One of my favourite bands, definitely in the last 5 years or so, Ghost or Ghost BC, as they're known in the States, they have finally announced a new studio album. So it's called Impera, and it's gonna come out on I didn't write it down. I'm pretty sure it's like March 20th or something like that, March 21st or something. They released a single called Call Me Little Sunshine, which has got like a weird title. It makes it sound all like sunshine, but it's really not, like, you know. And the music video has got like the devil and shit in it. It's very cool, very riff heavy. Me and Fee know all the words to it already. We've literally listened to it to death, and it's been out for about 3 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, Impera. Cannot wait for it. Check it out now on Spotify or wherever you listen to music. I'm sure it's there. Next little bit of news. Hamby, you know that I like the Jack Reacher books because we spoke about it in our episode of Favourites.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you know then that I really like the Reacher films with Tom Cruise in them.
Yeah.
I actually have both of them on 4K Blu-ray because I just really enjoy them. They're just good, like, crime action films. It got announced last year, like early last year, that Amazon have bought it and they're going to do a TV show called Reacher.
Oh, okay.
And they released a release date. They showed the guy who'd be playing Reacher, and he is actually an absolute unit. He's about 6'7" or something. You know, blonde like he is in the books, just an absolute tank. And the other day, they released a like 2.5 minute shower fight scene. I imagine from one of the scenes in the show. It's badass. It's literally like this tank of a man kicking the shit out of about 6 guys in a prison toilet situation thing. Really cool. And then it comes up with the release date, which is February 4th.
Oh, not far.
Yeah, like next week, bro. Next Friday.
Mm.
Really looking forward to it. If you haven't seen that, check the trailer. Check the trailer out, or check out that little fight scene, man, because it's like bone breaking. Like, looks good. Look real good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reacher on Amazon Prime. Again, another Amazon property. Next little bit of news. Now, this is pretty funny, actually. So, I saw this on the Bad to the Bone Truckers page, which me and Hamby are members of fully
avid members.
yeah, of the Bad to the Bone Trucking Society. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what this is, it's like, it's piss take, isn't it? It's like a piss take.
Yeah, it's like a blatant piss take of like the kind of like the kind of like
like macho Americanism,
conservative like middle America kind of thing with like the trucks and things. It's kind of it's kind of taking the mick out of it, but in like an endearing way. But then like also you get it. You have to see it to understand it.
Yeah, you really.
It's funny. It's funny.
So yeah, Bad to the Bone truckers who give no shits and dams, I think is the whole title of the page. But anyway, I saw this on there. One of the things they always do is they say God bless all the time, but they spell it like it's gobbles, all one word. So it's like, God bless, Hoss. And everyone gets called Hoss as well. And if you type anything in lowercase, they will come down on you for whispering.
Can't hear you.
Why are you whispering? But anyway, I saw this on there, and it was hilarious. So the other day, the one and only Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger drove his GMC truck basically over a Prius, and then like got out, and there's pictures of him like with his hands out, like like what kind of gesture. Absolutely hilarious. I mean, thank God, like apparently nobody was hurt in the crash, but it's like he crashed into the Prius and then drove over it somewhat. It's hilarious, yeah, and it's like people are commenting on there like Arnie's a true horse and stuff like this, and like God bless and stuff. Like obviously bad but funny, but then also Arnold Schwarzenegger crashed in his car in California where he lives. Big lad.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're going to bring it up, but I mean the other big bit of entertainment news this week, obviously Meatloaf passing away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you were going to bring that up, but
to be fair, I've been reading about it today and everything, but I forgot to put it in my notes.
Pretty sad. I did a bit of reading, and apparently, like, him and his like band were full on planning to like write some more stuff. I am not a Meatloaf fan. I've listened to like Bad Out of Hell, and that's about it. But obviously, like. I probably know him more for like his acting, to be honest. Like in terms of what he's been.
He was a prolific actor.
Yeah.
As well. I mean, and his music. Like I know him from first and foremost Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, yeah.
He was oh god, I can't remember his name.
I can't remember the character, but
Eddie. He was Eddie in Rocky Horror, and obviously he was Bob in Fight Club.
Yeah.
He was Jack Black's dad in the Tenacious D film. In loads of stuff, and I loved the way that he was such a big fan of like old school rock and roll, and there's just a lot of like pianos and stuff in his. It's really sad. I genuinely really liked. I genuinely really liked Meatloaf, and you know how I found out about that was I was on Spotify at work listening to some music, and I could see Adam listening to. Adam was on there, our friend Mr. Grizzly Bear. I can't remember what the song's called now, but it's something by like the Dashboard Light or something by Meatloaf. It's on the Bat Out of Hell album.
Yeah.
And I saw him listening to it. I was like, that's a weird one for Adam to be listening to. Then it went to like, God, make myself sound like a right fool now. I can't remember any of the names of the tracks. I totally can't remember. But it was basically he was listening through the album, and I was like, why the hell is Adam listening through, Bat Out of Hell? Mm. And then we listened to Planet Rock at work, and then it came on. It came on that he'd passed away, aged like 75 or something.
Yeah, apparently it was something to do with COVID. Apparently, but
no way.
I think one of the newspapers was reporting that. Obviously, it's kind of a little bit insensitive because it might not have been that, but I think one of the newspapers was reporting that. Whether you want to believe it or not, but, yeah.
Yeah. That's that is sad news. To be fair, I was. Really like Dead Ringer for Love with Cher.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, next little bit of news. Obviously, I mentioned this before. This is going to be a bigger talking point towards the end of the episode. But the absolute behemoth company, Microsoft, have just done one of the... It's the biggest purchase in like the history of gaming ever. They've bought... Microsoft have bought Activision Blizzard / King and a couple of other things, which means that they now own. They just own so much. They own so many IPs and things. But let's not get too much into this because I say we're going to come back to it later. But I couldn't leave it out of the sort of the weekly news roundup thing. So yeah, massive sale, $68.7 billion, insane. Next bit of news. So I don't know if you remember. I think it was actually the episode with you on it, Hamby. I said about there being a possible Tom Cruise cameo in the upcoming Doctor Strange film.
Oh yeah, maybe you send like loads of cameos in that movie.
Yeah,
yeah.
So there's going to be apparently loads and loads, but one of the biggest ones is that there is a Tom Cruise cameo because Tom Cruise was the first choice for Iron Man. Anyway, somebody has taken a really like potato quality photo, supposedly from the set of Doctor Strange 2, because they're doing loads of reshoots at the minute, and like it looks pretty much like Tom Cruise, I would say. As a big Tom Cruise fan, I'm 98% sure that it's Tom Cruise with a little stick-on mustache and beard, and he's wearing he's got like longish hair, and he's got a mocap suit on. So everyone is like, "Ooh, rumored the first possible image of Tom Cruise on set as Tony Stark." Cool.
Looking forward to that.
I think it's a really cool idea. Yeah. There's also rumours now that John Krasinski is going to show up as a Mr. Fantastic variant.
As what, sorry?
And Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, okay.
So basically like a variant of the Mr. Fantastic from the old Fantastic Four films, which then will be coming through to the Marvel side and carrying on as the main Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Is the rumour. Because there was rumours for a long time that like John Krasinski and Emily Blunt were both going to join as like Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman. But Marvel are really good these days at keeping things like under wraps.
Yeah.
Until somebody takes a potato picture of Tom Cruise dressed as Tony Stark. Last little bit of news. I mentioned, I think it was last week's episode, or maybe the week before, that Scream had knocked Spider-Man off the top slot for like the biggest opening weekend or whatever. Or just the biggest film. Yeah, like Spider-Man fully just slapped that thing across the head, and now Scream is right down there. Spider-Man's back on top. Yeah, Scream got bumped off.
So
Spider-Man's number one.
I think I mentioned it on the streaming on Friday, but we did finally go and see it last week. Finally,
yeah, you did.
I know I spoke about it on the stream, but not on the pod.
So big spoilers here. You've been warned. Spoilers for Spider-Man: Far From Home. No Way Home.
No Way Home, yeah.
Big spoilers. Okay, ready? All right, Hamvers, what did you think, man?
I finally saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I genuinely thought it was really, really good. It's probably the best Marvel movie I've watched since like Endgame and Infinity War.
Yeah. I fully agree with you there.
Because like, I mean, you know, I'm pretty critical of like Marvel movies on the whole.
Yeah.
It has to be good for me to like, for me to enjoy it. But yeah, I mean, I generally like all the Spider-Man movies that they've done like recently of this. And this one I thought was really good. I get it; it was a little bit like cheesy, like with like it was such blatant like fan service, wasn't it? But it was good. It was good.
It gave the fans exactly what they wanted. And I don't know about your viewing, because obviously you saw it quite late, so I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what your viewing was like. But in my viewing, the audience were losing their shit when Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire turned.
Oh, there was like
people were literally like, whoa, like standing up and stuff, man.
No, there was hardly anybody in ours because obviously everyone's already seen it. But no, it was good. I enjoyed it. I thought like I thought it was, out of all of the Tom Holland ones, it was obviously the darkest.
Yeah.
Like, as in like most sort of, it's not as playful of a movie as like previous ones. But I thought it was good. Like Doctor Strange was in it at the start and then right at the end. He wasn't in it much, was he really?
I thought that was good though.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I hope they do at least one or two more Tom Holland movies for Spider-Man.
I think they will, and I also think that I think both Tobey Maguire and Garfield will be back, based on their reception and how much money they probably got.
You think?
Yeah, they'll be back. I reckon Andrew Garfield is going to come. Oh, I counted my fingers then, and it cracked right into the microphone. Sorry, everyone.
What?
Based on the reaction of Andrew Garfield, I would say it's a very sure bet that Garfield will be back, possibly in that Morbius film that we were talking about a few weeks ago. And there's rumours that Tobey Maguire will be appearing in the Secret Wars TV show that Marvel are planning.
What I would say is like one of my favourite parts about the movie was Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe. I thought it was fantastic, and like, you know, I know he's obviously a phenomenal actor, you know, and he was great even when he did the actual, you know, original Spider-Man movies
20 years ago.
But yeah, still got it, and you know, I thought it was fantastic performance.
It was great because they took his mask off. Although I love that outfit gets ripped so bad, but until maybe a couple of years ago, I still had a little toy that I bought 20 odd years ago when that came out of Green Goblin because I thought that suit was so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, they took his helmet off. They actually let him act, and you can see he's got that like not to be harsh, but he's got that like goblin-y face. He can do that like real sinister smiles and things.
Oh yeah, he's
just the fight between them two where they're just going to town on each other, and Goblin does that like body drop, and it drops through like 3 floors.
Oh yeah, no, it was probably my favorite part about the movie was him actually. Like I thought he's so good, so good in that role. Really good. You know, and it's good that they brought him back for that movie.
I thought it was a little bit. I thought the first half of the film. Sorry, we will move on shortly, but I thought the first half of the film was a bit muddled. I thought the first half wasn't that great. I thought the second half was very good, but then I thought the ending was also a bit like, oh, you're cured.
Yeah,
because a machine can do anything, and like, oh, Goblin, you've got like severe multiple personality, like DID or whatever it's called. Just quick injection. Oh, you good?
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, Peter, you know, like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But it was very cool to see. For me, it was seeing Tobey Maguire again, man. Just like, as Adam said, this is a quote. You know, Adam said like, you know, my inner like 8-year-old was just like crying tears of joy. So
yeah. Nah, enjoyed it, and yeah,
great film. All right, you're safe now. No more spoilers from this point. I mean, it's becoming an old film, so like next time we mention it, I'm not going to do the spoilers. So, you know, for anyone listening that listens to this on repeat, you know, there might be a Spider-Man bomb just dropping. So be ready for it. So, the main point of this podcast is, you've already read the title, you clicked on it. It's called The Future of Gaming and the Rise of Xbox. Now, me and Hamby, the last few episodes, not counting the one with Adam in it, we spoke about, you know, the worst things about gaming, the best things about gaming, and in that best things about gaming episode, we actually spoke a little bit about what we thought the future would be like. And I thought, hey, like it'd be really cool to just like round off this trilogy of sort of this little gaming trilogy thing we're doing with like, yeah, expanding on that a little bit, like what we genuinely think the future of gaming is going to be like. And now that this whole massive acquisition has gone on, this is the sort of the rise of Xbox. Like, obviously, it doesn't mean like Xbox is starting or some shit because it's old now. But it's sort of like Xbox are really rising from the ashes with this whole thing. So we're going to talk a little bit about the sort of the future of gaming, and then we're going to go into this sort of Activision acquisition and just talk about that a little bit. So, Hamby, I'll do my first point on what I think the future of gaming is going to be. I think that VR, possibly, if it's made a lot more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
That was one of the things I'd written down. Yeah.
That's good.
I think it will be. I think there's two things because I think they're linked: VR and also AR. So like, as in like augmented reality. So I guess they are, you know, they're linked in a way. It's the technology has come down a lot in price. Like you can now get like an Oculus Rift, like for a couple £100, I think. The one that's like a standalone headset.
Yeah.
You don't actually need a PC to play it on. I think you can just actually play it on through a laptop. But then the actual full-blown headset is like £500 or £400 or something.
See, I think that VR is like I would say, the technology's come down. It's more accessible now. I think PlayStation are coming out with like a PSVR 2 soon. Yeah. But I don't think, for the foreseeable, I don't think you will ever beat sitting down with a controller.
Well,
because as caveman as controllers seem these days, you know, not everyone wants to be moving their arms or even moving their head around, you know. Some people want to just zombie out on the sofa and literally just stare and just move their eyes, you know.
Yeah,
I'm thinking maybe they come up with some sort of VR headset that's like, you sit down, you still have the screen, but it's just, you know, maybe it's just VR, but you still play with a controller, but you sort of can look around or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think VR in the current state, yeah, it puts me off it because it's not really what I want to do. It's cool. It's cool for like 10 minutes, but it's not. I don't want to sit there for hours on end with a headset on my head, you know, like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think augmented reality probably has far more utility because, like, with that you could actually, you know, you could be something like, right, I'm going to wear a pair of glasses, and I'll be able to watch TV, play my Xbox, and there'll be things around the room with it. Or like or say like you're playing. I think it was years ago now, but like Microsoft showed off their augmented reality with Minecraft. Don't know if you remember.
I remember that they were playing it on like a kitchen table or something.
Yeah. So I think like stuff like that will be the norm. Like, you know, rather than buying like board games, not that people play much board games anymore, but rather than everyone playing board games, you just play with your augmented like reality headset, you know.
I think you're right there. I think that definitely will be, in terms of just like mass, you know, produce consumer goods and things. Yeah, like board games definitely will go, and there will be like you say, like augmented reality.
Yeah.
Glasses that are the same, maybe even the same board game, but now the board actually isn't there.
Yeah, I think with VR, I think it's cool, and I completely understand why it has a purpose. But for most people, I think it's just price, but that'll change. But it's mainly just like, I don't want to wear a big sweaty headset over my eyes.
I do think, you know, as cool as it seems, I don't particularly want to be like moving around the room, you know. Like I just get flashbacks to when the Nintendo Wii, the first one, came out, and it was sold out everywhere, right? And my dad somehow managed to get a console, and we took it on a little holiday to Cornwall, took it with us, and you know, it only came with like Wii Sports or whatever, which is what everyone wanted anyway. Anyway, you go on Wii Sports, you boot up the tennis game, start playing it. After 20 minutes, your arm is burnt out, and you're feeling that for like the next day. And it's just like, I don't want to be swinging and moving around. I like the controller, which is why I was thinking maybe like, I don't think I'd mind a headset, but for like, you know, I couldn't play it for hours, you know, with a headset on. Like, I struggle enough with a you know, a gaming headset on, like, but I could see myself sat down with a controller and a headset on, you know, playing something.
I mean, I think you already can, to be fair. I think a few of them. I think you can do that. Yeah.
Because a lot of the Oculus and things, they have controllers in the hands, so you don't have to move. You actually move your arms and stuff.
But yeah, it's not. I don't think VR at the moment is set up for like casual gaming. Like,
no, yeah,
it's like I'm gonna sit in a, because the thing is, you can't just do it in if you're doing like, I know the PlayStation one has the little joysticks, like you can't just do that sat on the sofa. You have to have room to move your arms around and stuff, you know.
I mean, I've seen some clips and some games, and I'm like, yeah, that looks really cool. Like Beat Saber. Have you seen Beat Saber?
Yeah. With
looks very cool.
Thing, yeah.
But then it's like, you know, there's a Beat Saber person on YouTube, and I don't know if I don't usually watch this sort of thing. It just came up. I don't know if she's like one of the best, but she does like a whole routine while doing like insanely fast Beat Sabers. So for anyone who doesn't know, that I think the whole point of Beat Saber is, imagine you're holding two lightsabers and blocks are coming at you, and you basically have to hit them and slice through them however you want, but in time with the music. It's almost like a next generation like Guitar Hero type game.
Yeah,
you know?
like Fruit Ninja slash
there,
Guitar Hero.
Yeah, that's it. She's there and she's spinning. She's like doing all sorts of moves, and I'm like, that looks so cool. But you know, after 3 minutes, I'm going to be keeled over on the floor, clutching my chest. You know.
Yeah. No, I think AR definitely has. I can definitely see more applications for AR than VR. I think VR is going to be there for people who want to use it, and that's great. But
for like training purposes and things like that, definitely VR. You know, if you're like pilot training or something, you know, or even driving training and thing like that, I can see that being the norm.
Yeah. I have used VR headsets and they are cool. I'll be honest, they are cool. And they, you know, it's not just gaming as well. They do have applications outside of that, you know, like in sort of, you know, various things. But
well, I think you know, talking of AR, there's already a lot of AR which is extremely popular. Just look at Pokemon Go. You know, that thing was mad when it came out, and it still is arguably popular today. Yeah. But yeah, that's an AR, and isn't there a Witcher one as well? I swear there's a Witcher AR where you go around, you find,
not sure,
you find monsters, and you have to, yeah. Pretty sure. But yeah, I think those are both real good points, man. Both real good points.
I've got another point.
Go on in.
So I don't know whether this is going to be good or bad, but you know, I don't think we've spoken about it on the pod too much, but I think NFTs are going to have quite a big impact on gaming, whether that's good or bad in the future. I think I like 80% understand what an NFT is now.
Yeah, I'm still struggling.
But I think I understand it now, and I can see why they exist. But what I have read is that a lot of people see them as like they're going to have the most utility basically they're going to have utility in anything that you can have a token for or anything like that. So in gaming, like, people are saying that it's going to be like you know, a unique skin or a unique operator or whatever you want to have.
Okay.
And that might be how NFTs are used in video games.
So I don't quite like. Obviously, big shout out to Mr. Ben Thorne Williams, who listens to this podcast every week. He's gonna I don't know, love me or hate me for saying it, but he's like the ultimate master of cryptocurrency in my eyes. He just knows everything, and he is the grandmaster of NFTs. He shows me his library, and he's got like 30 plus, and he's like, here's like 20K's worth of NFTs or something, and I'm like, damn, man, it looks like it's a frog wearing a skateboard hat or something. But like, so what you're saying is that you could buy one of these NFTs, which is, I don't know, a picture of like a chimp scratching his balls, and that will allow me to play as a certain character in a game. Well,
it's all to do with the NFT is literally just a link to the actual data of what is on the NFT. It's not, you don't actually own anything, really.
Well, this was my first. But I went straight into NFTs on the sort of offensive, and I didn't understand it, so I was like, well, I looked into it very briefly, and it was like, yeah, you don't own anything.
No,
like, you're buying the idea of ownership.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily matter for a lot of things, because you know, okay, going outside of gaming, like, you could potentially use it for anything. Like, you know, you could use it for, you know, literally anything that you would have a token for, or or you want to have a proof that you own or have ownership, or theoretically have ownership of something.
No, I get you. Yeah.
So with something like operators and things, the reason why I said it had utility in gaming is that it's another excuse to further monetize things like operators and things, because they go, oh, like, well, you can be the first, the owner of the first edition of this skin or first edition of this operator. They'll go for crazy amounts of money. You're already seeing it with whenever any big NFT gets released, the first edition of things are the ones that always go for the stupid prices. So it's similar to artwork and stuff. You think Pokemon cards, like first edition Pokemon cards, physical Pokemon cards. Some of them go for millions. And then you sort of think, well, why is that? It is literally just a piece of cardboard. Like, why can't you do the same thing with a digital NFT where you're actually, you've actually, it's the same thing but just digital. In my head, I'm like, oh yeah, like it does make sense when you explain it like that.
I get you. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I know that sort of tying it back to video games, a lot of companies are now trying to sort of get the ball rolling with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said, but a couple of weeks back now, Ubisoft released, of course it's Ubisoft, any chance there's any money to be made in anything, Ubisoft will be the first people there. But they basically launched something, Ubisoft something, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like it's an NFT trading and buying sort of platform. And I had a quick look, but what it was is you could maybe buy, Sam Fisher's 3 green dots.
Yeah.
It was like that, but one in green, one in red, and stuff like that. But I think the official sort of numbers came out for that, and it turns out it's like the same 4 people that are buying and selling to each other on that site. Like, the main general public are just having absolutely none of it.
Yeah. Because
I think maybe it's because they don't understand fully, and they also just, it comes across as Ubisoft like, hey, want to buy a picture?
Yeah, yeah. But I think that the long-term utility, I can see it happening quite a lot in gaming.
I mean, we spoke about this a little bit when you came to my house a few weeks back, and we had a little bit of a chat about it. Obviously, I guess we both know a lot more then, because we were sort of like, what is this, to start with. But I remember reading that, I think it was quite a high up person in Nintendo was like, I think that some reporter or something asked about it, and he was like, hell yeah, NFTs are the future. And he said, imagine, we could sell you an NFT of Mario, which meant that only you could play as Mario in Super Mario Kart. And I remember saying to you, mate, that's the death of gaming.
Yeah, but it wouldn't. Nintendo wouldn't do that for a number of reasons, would they? What they would do is they would
because it's a stupid idea.
Yeah, they would be like, right, okay, you can play as the first edition of Mario, or
Mario in a certain skin.
Yeah,
I get that,
and you'll be the only one who can play as that. It'll be something like that, or where they go, you're the only one who can play that. Anybody else has one of these other skins that they could maybe buy if they wanted, or it's kind of that kind of way.
I get it. So I'm hoping to actually have Ben on the show fairly soon. Next couple of weeks, hopefully. And I'm going to ask him to fully explain it again, because he just knows so much. And it's a shame that I'm using my phone to actually do this call with you now, Ham, because otherwise what I would do is I would call Ben right now and just be like, Ben, hold him up to the mic and just be like, quickly, give us a rundown of what the fucking NFT is.
I can say that I don't feel like I fully understand it. I feel like I understand it more now than I did a month ago. But it's still kind of that age-old question of why does something have value? You go, yeah, why the hell does something made up like digital have value? But then you're like, well, yeah, but then why? Like I said, why does a Pokemon card cost $1 million? There's absolutely no reason why it should, but it does.
Yeah.
Because somebody's willing to pay that much money for it. But yeah.
Yeah, I get you. NFTs, man, super confusing. But I think whether you're for them or against them, they will be making their way further into gaming. That's probably safe to say.
Yeah.
My next point, we can go over it fairly quickly, because I said about it in the last episode when I said that I love how I can play my Xbox on everything. It's cloud gaming. I know that the Xbox can do cloud gaming from the actual, when you go on the Game Pass or whatnot, and it comes up with install or something. There is a picture of a cloud next to it, right? And my dumbass had never really paid attention to it. But the other day, I was installing something, and I just tapped on it, and it just booted the game up. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I don't even have to install this? Like, madness. It just amazes me. But then, to be fair, I did go off it because it was like, it said, because you're streaming this kind of thing, like, it might not be as good or whatnot. And I, being the caveman that I am that doesn't understand anything, I was sort of like, well, I better play the real version. And then I spent an hour and a half installing the game. But, I think that it's going to be, like we said, it's going to be more like that. It's going to be no discs, no downloads.
Yeah.
I think, anyway.
I still think we're a way off complete cloud gaming. Because, like, I've got like a very good, like, Virgin Internet connection. And I have tried cloud gaming on my PC, plugged into the back of the router. And I noticed it was kind of like a little bit janky at times.
So what were you playing on it?
Oh, I can't remember. I think it...
Was it like something multiplayer, like online, or was it single player?
I think it might have been like Forza or something. And I remember, like, it looked good. But, like, there was ever so slightly, like, an input lag. And
that's so bad.
And, like, it might... There's some games where you could probably get away with it. Like, when you're playing, like, games like Forza or, like, a first-person shooter like Halo or Call of Duty, you would notice it. Because, like, you would notice it, like, quite badly. But some games that you can get away with it. But, like I say, I've got a very good internet connection. And I noticed it. So, I don't know. I still think it's... What's it going to be
like for someone on Talk 25 meg?
Yeah, so I still think it's a way off. But,
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think it is a way off, but I think we're definitely on the right track. For that, making progress. And I used to be quite sort of against it because I was like, I don't want to. Like, I used to be Mr. Physical. Like, I like having my games stored alphabetically on the shelf or stuff. But I'm more and more becoming like a digital sort of guy.
I am. I don't like having to get off my fast to change the disc.
I am genuinely becoming more like that. The only way it works better, right, is that last night. I was said to Fee, let's download Skyrim. Let's play Skyrim. So I went on the Game Pass. It's on there. Tap download, and it started installing. And I've got my internet isn't as good as yours. I'm a Sky boy, but it's still like 50 plus, probably like 65 meg.
That's good.
And which is fast. Yeah, like it's still fast. And it was downloading, and it was like hour and a half or something. And I was like, okay, well, it's going faster than that. But yeah. And then I was like, well, hang on a minute, actually. I've got the disc upstairs. Like, why don't I just wang the disc in, and surely then it would go faster because it's reading it straight off the disc. So I did get off my fat ass, go upstairs and get the disc and put it in, and it did go faster. But yeah, I was fully just like gonna sit there for like, while it download it when I have it upstairs.
Yeah. No, I like the idea of cloud gaming, and I think it will eventually be the norm, but. I don't know. I can't see it happening for at least. I think, like 5, you say, everyone
needs to have very good internet before anything like that can really become.
I mean, like me and you have got pretty good internet connection. Our friend Tomo, like he has the worst internet of anybody
Which
I know.
Which is really funny, right? Because I know that Tomo won't listen to this podcast because Tomo was notorious back in the day for not listening to his own podcast, which is fine, But, like, Tomo was the guy who's always like, I've got fucking, what's he call it, Halo 3 or something? And we're like, mate, that came out years ago. And he's like, no, I've got BT Halo 3, you have a little disc in every room and you've got, like, super, super fast, internet. And, like, mate, like...
His internet was the worst.
I don't know, for anyone listening to this, when, this is obviously a remote podcast, and hopefully... if it goes how it should, you shouldn't really be able to tell, other than a slight difference in our microphones, you shouldn't really be able to tell that we're not just sat right next to each other, because me and Hamby's internet is so good like that. But when we did a few with Tomo, It was hilarious, man, and quite frustrating because I'd be like, "So, Tomo, we watched this film. What do you think of this?" And he's just staring at me. And then a second later, I'd hear myself go, "What did you think of this?" in his headset. A couple more seconds, and then it's, "Yeah, so I thought this was from Tomo," and it was borderline painful to go through it. And then, as I was editing the episode, you could literally hear his internet speed get faster as his responses got quicker to at the end of my question or something. And then you could hear his internet speed and slow, and it was, man. Tomo, bro, get some better internet, man. Pound man connection.
But the thing is, like when I lived at my parents', like, I remember, like, I would have been maybe, like, early teens. And I just got I maybe just got a 360. I was just starting to like play online with people, and my parents had their internet they had at that time was so bad. It was like I don't think it was even like 10 megabit down, which wasn't even like the worst back then. That wasn't even the worst. But the thing
you lived a little bit out there. Well, not out there, but you lived a bit further out.
Yeah,
than the town
and it took ages. Then like I remember, I think I would have maybe been like 15, and they like upgraded it to like 20, 30 megabit down, and that felt like a crazy upgrade. Like I could watch like 1080p videos on YouTube like that easily, and like it was...
like I remember it as well. Like I remember full on dial up to start with.
Yeah.
And then it went to like 5 to 10 megabits per second or whatever. And I remember the naughty boy that I was. If I was downloading a movie or something, I'd have to leave my computer on all night.
Yeah,
I'd leave it downloading like all night.
Oh my god, yeah. I remember like, if you were you didn't really download games back then, really, did you?
No.
It was you buy them. But I remember like if you wanted to go on like Call of Duty or something, and you'd be like, but then there's like a 20 gig game update. It's like, that's gonna take a whole day to download.
Yeah.
And
then, like you say, it did get faster. Yeah.
You do laugh about it now, but that wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't really, was it? And what are you on now? What are you at? 230?
We pay for 200 megabit, and I think we get like 150 to 200. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't think we need it. We basically got a good deal with it. I only pay like 36 a month for like that and like TV. Yeah, we got a very good deal.
I pay 66.
Yeah, well, so
but I do have. I've got like the movies, the TV, the UHD, I got everything.
I need to. Ours runs out next month. At the moment, I'm paying for like. I know you don't like football, but I'm paying for like Sky Sports.
Yeah. That's what can really make your bill.
It's 25. I pay 25 a month on Now TV, which isn't too bad.
That sounds like a lot, man.
Well, yeah, but you pay.
But then I pay like what is like 18 a month for Sky Movies or something. So like,
it's all relative, isn't it? Like, I spend most weekends watching a couple games of football. I get my money's worth out of it, but
I rarely use Sky Movies.
Yeah, but
it's good.
But yeah.
Fair enough, man. I've got a couple more points. I don't know if we want to blast through these before we get to the sort of the Xboxy side of things. One of them is a perfect segue. So we spoke about it a little bit, and last week, and we talked about the subscriptions. How we both think that like everything is going to be on a subscription service because like it appears great value for the consumer. And it's great for the company because they can just slam all these things out there, and they can, rather than going, this is 70 quid, and the consumer going like, ooh, a bit steep. They're like, tenner a month, mate, and it's sort of like, hey, yeah, and everybody's giving them money every month. So yeah, it just feels like it works well for both parties, kind of thing. The whole subscription.
One thing I would say, like, I think there's definitely some negatives. Or potential negatives. The first is that I don't think services like Game Pass are going to be a tenner a month forever.
Hell no!
I think especially with what we're going to talk about in a bit with Activision and Bethesda, I think prices are going to go up. I think it's kind of I can see it happening that it'll be so uncommon to buy physical copies of games or download them yourself that actually, like, you almost will have no choice but to get a subscription, or there'll be games that you cannot buy anywhere else. You have to get a subscription.
Only available on Game Pass.
That'll be the way it is, like it is with TV. Like, if you want to watch a Netflix show, like, you got to get Netflix. Like, there's no other way around it. Same thing with the game subscriptions, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think I said in the last episode, I am fully expecting Game Pass to go up to like close to £20 a month.
Yeah, I think so. I think
because I mean the value, like I think it's because I said the best thing about gaming is Game Pass and the value of Game Pass. Like, it's $10.99 for 150 games.
Yeah,
including brand new games.
Yeah, but also I have an Xbox. And I do really like Game Pass, but I'm under no illusions that, it's turning into a monopoly. Like, Microsoft are just buying up everybody.
I think we'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah. Your last thing, the last thing you just said then ties into my point, which is, it's great. If Xbox buys everything, which is one of the things I think the future is going to be, I don't think we've seen the end of Xbox buying things.
No,
so
me neither.
That rolls us into the second half of this little thing, which is all about Xbox buying Activision, Blizzard / King, whatever you want to say. What are your first thoughts of this, man?
I mean, it came completely out of the blue, really.
You messaged me and I was at work and it was like, hey?
Yeah,
boom!
I just saw this
money on the table.
Yeah, I just saw this this thing on Reddit, and I looked on the official Xbox Twitter page, and it was like, damn, we've just bought Activision, and $70 billion, which is a crazy amount of money. Crazy amount of money, especially when you consider that last year they bought Bethesda or ZeniMax for $7.5 million.
So I couldn't remember what that amount was, but all I could think back to was
billion. Sorry, not billion.
When Disney bought Marvel Studios, they bought that for $12 billion.
Yeah,
which at the time was like, well, it still is. It's crazy money, but it's such a big amount of money to then hear that Microsoft have bought Activision, which some people who aren't that big on games will be like, what do they make? Like maybe Call of Duty and a couple other games for $70 billion.
Yeah,
it's just insane.
I mean, it's not just it's not just Call of Duty. They've got some damn big IPs.
I know.
Overwatch. I know I don't really like it, but Overwatch is one of the.
I'm not a fan, but I get it.
It's a huge IP. Like, what was it? It was like one of the. It's like one of the best-selling hero shooters, of all time, isn't it?
Yeah. So I was going to get a full list of all of the properties they now own.
Yeah. So
it's massive.
So. It's big, and there's a lot of actually very well-loved IPs there. The other one which has been around for years that's hugely popular is World of Warcraft.
Of course.
I know that because they obviously own Blizzard, Activision own Blizzard, but it's pretty crazy. It's not just Call of Duty. Whoever says it's just Call of Duty, they're lying. There's a lot of other ones. There's all the Crash games, big game series.
So how absolutely mad is it that Microsoft now own Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah.
Arguably a mega PlayStation mascot.
Yeah, it's weird, the way that's happened, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, they I'm just flicking through a list right now. There's some weird.
Yeah, I saw there's Gun. Obviously the Tony Hawk games.
Sorry, completely random, but Activision own the IP to the iCarly games apparently.
Oh wow, we're gonna get some big iCarly games, guys. Yeah, it's coming.
I mean, so the big one is Call of Duty, which I would argue is probably one of the main reasons why Microsoft bought Activision.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is the the big money maker in the gaming industry, or and everything. You know, even if you just count like movies, music, video games, like Call of Duty is an absolute behemoth.
It is. It's an absolute tank.
And especially now with Warzone. So it's no surprise, but the fact that they were willing to pay $70 billion for it, I don't know, it's pretty bananas.
It really is Xbox slamming their cards down on the table and going, yeah, fucking pair of aces. You know?
Yeah,
it's like, I do hope, though, that, and I think I would say that this means, hopefully, that a lot of those games, because let's face it, I'm not sure if you're aware, but Activision are not known for being one of the best companies around right now. There has been a lot of allegations, a lot of staff being mistreated, and they're just a lot of people are fully boycotting them because of their sort of business practices and things at the minute. I would hope that because any game that one of these companies, and it's like 6, 7 companies or something, any game that they produce is now, it's a face of Xbox. So I would hope that those games now get much better because they are tied to the Xbox name. It's like with Bethesda, like I am fairly hopeful that this new StarCraft game coming out will be not a buggy piece of shit on release, because it's got big man Phil Spencer like breathing down Todd Howard's neck, going, this is Xbox now, like it needs to be good, it can't be crap.
Yeah.
So I would hope that a lot of these games, that you see a big improvement, especially in, I know I'm in the minority, as with you, because I actually really enjoyed COD Vanguard that came out last year, but a lot of people hated it, and, I think it's going to mean that a lot of these games are going to get a lot better.
Yeah, I what I think would happen, and it makes sense that would happen, that given that Activision and these companies are owned by huge company, they're owned by Microsoft now, which is one of the wealthiest companies in the world. You'd think that there wouldn't be so much of a financial pressure to just rush out products. Yeah. That actually it's like, well, okay, like fair enough, we want to release our new Call of Duty or our new Elder Scrolls game this year, but it's a buggy mess. Like, we can actually afford to push it back a year. Yeah. And like they did with Halo, they did it with Halo, and it seems to have worked out really well. Like, Halo was really well received, and they pushed it.
That's what I mean. It's because they are not. I think the good thing about Xbox and Phil Spencer in that they do not want a game coming out that's representing Xbox and it being like it being not playable.
Yeah, on the whole, the first party Xbox, like Microsoft games, have been pretty good. Like this year anyway, like Forza and Halo.
So
they've been pretty good.
I also hope that speaking in particular of Call of Duty, I hope that what you said, taking the time. I hope that they don't make it. They get rid of the annual release cycle and they make it like a 2-yearly.
I don't think they will. I think Call of Duty is like on par with like FIFA and stuff now. Like it's almost expected that it's going to be a yearly release, I think. And that's part of the reason why they paid so much money for it.
I think it could be, but I mean, Warzone is constantly around, right? So I think what they could do really is they could pump more into Warzone and do a 2-yearly release.
Like a
campaign. Main Call of Duty, a campaign.
You're right.
Speaking of Call of Duty, a lot of people seem to think that COD now moving forward won't be exclusive.
So,
what do you think?
I don't know if you saw that tweet by Phil Spencer. So
I did. I thought that he is being very careful with his words.
It was very, very ambiguous, because he was like he was saying like, we've reiterated our desire to keep Call of Duty on other platforms, on PlayStation and things. And it's like,
but doesn't he say, platforms where like Game Pass is available and stuff?
Well, anybody who's worked in like business or or had a job like somewhere knows that like that's really ambiguous. Like that could mean a whole number of things. I think Call of Duty is such a big money maker. I don't think it will be only on Xbox or not on PlayStation. What I think is probably more likely to happen is that they'll have like way more timed exclusives for Xbox, and also if it was gonna come off PlayStation, I think like Warzone and things like that would probably stay on there.
So I cannot wait to find out what happens, right? Because I disagree.
Really?
I think that because when Bethesda got bought, I said there is no fucking way that Xbox are gonna make Skyrim and Fallout exclusive, because they're literally making money off of PlayStation. They're like enemy, they're making money. Why would they do that? And then they're literally just like, yeah, it's exclusive. So, for however much that deal went through, for what did you say? It was like
$7.5 billion. Yeah.
Yeah, for $7.5 billion, they've made it exclusive. I don't think that I think that Call of Duty is 100% going to be an Xbox exclusive. I don't think that they will be willing to spend $70 billion and not make it exclusive.
I disagree. I think they're two different. They're two completely different like types of business. Like releasing like an Elder Scrolls game once every 10 years versus like an annual Call of Duty game. I think they're completely different. But
here's where I agree with you, right? I do agree with you that I think, and part of me thinks that I might be wrong here as well, but I think that Warzone will remain cross-platform, PlayStation as well, but the individual Call of Duty games, including multiplayer, will be. I would almost be willing to put money on that.
So I think at the very least, I think he said that existing agreements, which I think most people seem to think is up until next year's annual Call of Duty release. That's I think where so they've got another 2 Call of Duties coming to PlayStation, or 1 or 2. After that, it's obviously a little bit more unknown. But I personally don't think that they will stay. I think they'll keep them on PlayStation. A hell of a lot of people have PlayStations.
I fully get it, and that's just what I mean. Is I'm just so interested to know what actually happens.
Yeah, with the Bethesda thing, I can kind of understand why it would come off PlayStation more, because you're like, that does genuinely give somebody a reason to buy an Xbox, because you'd be like, I have to play the new Skyrim. Whilst Call of Duty, I don't know. I think it's such a big behemoth annual release.
I just think, like, why wouldn't they? Why would they not? If you've just spent that much money on something, why would you not? Because I think that it's definitely going to be Thingamabobman, man.
I think the other thing you have to remember when they're buying game studios and publishers, they're not just buying the IP. They're also effectively buying the talent, the actual developers and the writers and the designers. Like, they're buying all of those people's talent, if you like, So that, I think that's like another thing that you have to bear in mind. It's not all about the IP.
Yeah.
Microsoft are also thinking.
Tying into that, I know that there are a lot of companies that are now tied to the Call of Duty name, and the sort of word is that Big Man Spencer is going to sort of free a lot of those companies that have been tied to Call of Duty for so long, who used to make their own games, but they're now linked to this thing. He's going to let them go off and do things they want to do. I think he said that, like, he wants to have big chats with the companies to see what they actually want to do. And there are rumours now that some beloved, whether you like them or not, IPs may be returning, such as like Guitar Hero, Skylanders, if you liked that, and stuff like that will be sort of, Tony Hawk's, things like that will be sort of coming back.
Yeah. So on this topic, like I think that Microsoft are probably going to be buying a lot more. The next, the other big publisher that I've seen banded around that apparently might be bought out is EA. EA, obviously one of the I want to say they're probably one of the biggest publishers outside of Microsoft and other, they're alongside like Rockstar and Activision and things like that.
So who? Because I've heard rumors that Sony are apparently trying to.
I mean,
swim into
that. I think Microsoft are the ones with the money, aren't they?
Well, yeah.
But like EA have had they've had a fucking rough year, definitely. With releases.
Rough few years.
Rough few years with releases. They haven't got the best of reputation with their annual sports games. Lots and lots of problems with those games, even though they are money makers, like FIFA and things. But and that actually, a takeover of EA would probably be on par with, if not more than, Activision, I think. Given the IPs that EA have, like FIFA. Well, although the FIFA one, so the FIFA IP actually is EA are actually losing that soon, but
I heard about that.
But Battlefield,
because aren't FIFA making their own game development?
So it's a bit more complicated than that. So basically, like EA basically pay for the use of they pay for the name FIFA, which is obviously the FIFA organization, and they also pay for they pay for like this database called FIFA Pro database, which is basically all the players that play for the top clubs, and they also pay for all of like the kits and things and the licensing
likenesses and things like that. Yeah.
They pay for all that as part of that, and basically that's the thing that's expired or expiring in the next couple of years. And FIFA have basically not really said anything else other than that. So whether or not Konami may well want to buy it up potentially for PES, Pro Evolution, or Winning 11, whatever they call it nowadays. Or also there are a few other like smaller projects that are also looking at buying up the FIFA license. But the thing is, you got to remember is EA. I think EA could lose the license to FIFA. They would still make a football game.
They would, and they'd still have the fan base. And
the thing is, they would just release Ultimate Team, and Ultimate Team could probably be free to play. Because it is literally just it's honestly not. It's basically a free to play game at the moment. Like you just buy packs and that's how you make your team.
Yeah.
So I don't think EA losing the FIFA license really impacts them at all, really. But anyway, I'm going off topic, but I do think like EA are definitely one of those companies that would almost benefit.
So, I've heard rumours of EA would definitely benefit from.
They've got some huge IPs.
I've heard rumours of maybe Sega or Capcom, possibly, getting bought by Microsoft. I think you're right. I think we haven't seen the end of these big acquisitions. I think that leads me on well to my next point, which is a lot of people. I don't know if this is just specifically, on the sort of PlayStation side, but a lot of people are holding up the red card and saying, "Hang on a minute, this is illegal. The deal won't go," because we're talking like it's happened. It doesn't actually go through until next year or something like this.
Oh, okay.
The deal doesn't finalize. The deal doesn't actually finalize until next year, but it's as good as done, basically.
It goes through like competition watchdogs and all that kind of things, isn't it?
Yeah. It's. I think it's safe to say 99.9% it's done, but like it's just not going to be finalized yet. But a lot of people are saying, they're calling it a monopoly, and they're saying that now Xbox, they're owning too much of the of the fish in the pond kind of thing. But I've heard that a lot. I've heard that a few times. A lot of the boys in our chat have said like, I think isn't it illegal what they're doing now and stuff. A quick Google search will basically tell you that like, no, it isn't, because in order for it to be a monopoly, they need to own so and so and so and so. There's still many, many big game producers and companies and things out there.
I just think I touched on it before with like Xbox and their streaming service, and I think it's going to go like that. I think Xbox, Microsoft, and Sony as well, because they're coming out with their own
Spartacus,
Game Pass kind of thing. I think that it's just becoming more of a service, and I think that at the moment,
what do you think to this? Sorry to interrupt there, but what do you think to this? Right, I've heard a rumor based on something that Phil Spencer said. He said something like, we are. This is sort of making it up slightly. The gist of what he said is that they will support games on Game Pass wherever Game Pass exists, is something like what he said. A lot of people are like, oh, hang on, like, what do you mean that? Because there was rumours like a year ago or something of Game Pass coming to Switch, or like coming to Nintendo. What if Microsoft are trying to big this thing up, buy as much as they can, so that their Game Pass is the biggest Game Pass, to then sell it to Sony?
Yeah.
So we could be seeing Xbox Game Pass on the Sony PlayStation.
The simple fact is that companies like Microsoft and also Sony and Nintendo to an extent, maybe not quite Nintendo, but they don't make anywhere near as much money from hardware sales as they do software and through subscription services. Yeah. Like the amount of money that Microsoft make on selling an Xbox, like it's pretty insignificant when you consider actually the margins for having a Game Pass subscription, paying for an Xbox Live, over several years. Like they make way more money doing that. And actually, I think in the future, I think that companies like Xbox aren't going to be as into making hardware as they are nowadays. I think it'll be way more of a subscription. I think I personally think you'll be able to play Xbox on a smart TV. Something like that. It'll be a service, and I think Sony will probably try and come up with something similar. Where because they're the same. Sony aren't doing fantastic. PlayStation is like one of the best performing divisions of Sony. Like they don't make that. Their mobile phone business is pretty non-existent. They make a bit of money from their Bravia TVs, but PlayStation are the biggest brand that they've got. And they probably would make more money if they were concentrating more on the software side of things rather than trying to sell machines. I think this is like one of the last. I think there's probably only a couple more generations of consoles before
I think you're right.
Games companies start to go, this ain't worth it. Like there's gonna have to be a big shift, and I think Xbox see that, and that's why they're just hoovering up IPs, because they're just like they know it's going to be like Netflix. And I can
fully imagine, like going on your smart TV, going on the app. Maybe they still make the controllers, but then like going on the app, booting up Xbox as an app on your TV and playing it with your with your controller.
Yeah, and fair enough. Like smart TVs nowadays can't do it, but in 10 years' time they will be able to. Definitely be able to.
Definitely.
And by then cloud gaming might be more of a thing. So I definitely think in 10 years' time, I don't think you'll have an Xbox, like so to speak. I don't think so.
So overall on this whole acquisition, what do you think? Are you happy? Are you a little bit annoyed? Are you unsure? What do you make of it? Because I'll go first. I think I would say this, but being like someone who I'm just more familiar with Xbox. I use it every day. I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing that like now a lot of those games, they're going to be on Game Pass. I'm going to be able to play them easy. Like I don't play Call of Duty that much, but when one comes out and we all play it, say this is if it goes exclusive. If it was the other way, I'd be a little bit bummed out if Sony got it and I couldn't play it, with you guys and stuff. So, yeah, I'm all for this whole thing.
I think it's got some positives because Microsoft.
Hopefully, the games will just be better.
Yeah, I mean that's a big thing. I think Xbox's or Microsoft's like IPs before all of this, like, in my opinion, were pretty poor actually. Like bar Gears, Halo, and Forza, I would say there's not really an awful lot exclusive to Microsoft that is actually actually good compared to Sony. Like, and I've always said this, like Sony do, and I'd say still do have the best exclusives.
I tell you what though, here's an interesting fact, and it's something that I read earlier. Sony now don't have any first-party games coming out this year.
What, as in like no like exclusive first-party games?
There's no exclusive first-party games.
Yeah, not like an Uncharted or a God of War or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, if I was a PlayStation fan right now, honestly, if I was like a die-hard PlayStation fan, I'd be pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
Hearing this news and then hearing that, like, I've got to wait a year until Ragnarok or until Horizon, what's that game? Is it Horizon?
Oh, Zero Dawn. Zero Dawn kind of thing.
But the new Horizon, the next
one, I know it's the sequel. Yeah.
None of that is coming out this year.
I think,
and it's February. No, it's not even February. It's January.
Yeah, I think that so I like it from like a selfish point of view, and that it means that Xbox have got some better IPs, but just looking like a bit further down the line, like I think like I've mentioned before, I think I can just see where it's going. I think it's going to. I think there's going to be like a land grab for Rockstar, EA,
sure.
Ubisoft. Like they're all going to get bought out by Microsoft or Sony, or maybe like each other. Maybe they'll just buy each other up, and we'll just have We'll have like a big three, and it'll be like Amazon Prime, Netflix, that kind of thing. That's how I think it's going to go.
You can see the sort of the landscape of the future of gaming, can you?
I think so. Anyway, I might be wrong, but
well, I think we've made some pretty good points about the future of gaming in general, and then also the future of gaming in relation to this whole Activision acquisition, bro.
Yeah, it was interesting, and I think there's a lot more news to come out of this, like over the next few months and years. I think same with like the Bethesda takeover, because they're pretty similar. We'll find out more.
Yeah, for sure. Mate, I think we've come to the end of another episode of DudeWutPodcast. I'm still just thinking about this whole thing. It's a mind-boggling amount of money. I'm trying to imagine having 70 billion in my pocket. And
I sent you that meme. Now it was only a meme, so I don't know how true this is, but it was like the value of the PlayStation brand was something like 37 billion or something.
Yeah.
And it was one of these memes where it was like the guy looking at the camera, side-eyeing the camera, really worried.
And then looking away.
But I don't know how true that was.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like you say, it was a meme, but hilarious. Let us know what you think of this whole situation. Send an email, dudewutpodcast@gmail.com. At DudeWutPodcast on Instagram. You can go to facebook.com/DudeWutPodcast, I guess. Just search DudeWutPod. We're on there. You can send us a voice message if you like. It's sort of like calling us, but you don't actually have to call us. If give your opinion or whatnot, we'll play it. We'll play it the next time we've got Hamby on the show, and that'd be really cool. Sorry, we're all over the place now. I'm genuinely struggling to think of where we are. buymeacoffee.com/DudeWutPodcast. Throw us a shiny pound coin. We would appreciate it. Of course, you don't have to. It's up to you. Just if you like the pod and you find it entertaining or factual or whatnot, feel free. The option's there. That's what I was going to say. The little bit of news this week from DudeWutPodcast is that the last 3 episodes of the DWP Gaming live stream that we do every Friday night, it's usually with Hamby, myself, and maybe Tomo or someone. The last 3 episodes are now available to watch on YouTube. Now, it is episode 5, 6, and 7. Unfortunately, I'm not very tech savvy, and I didn't save the videos before they expired from Twitch. So they're basically like the first 3 episodes, but they're on there now. And although for some reason the quality, you'd think the quality on the brand new Xbox through Twitch would be amazing, but actually the quality isn't very good. So apologies for that, but the reason why you should watch it, if you do enjoy this podcast, is it's basically like another episode. Like, we're just chatting bollocks while we're playing it, chatting about all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, check that out on YouTube now. youtube.com/DudeWutPodcast, I guess. There's links to it like on all of our places, so that's where you can find us on there. Hamby, it's been really great having you on the show, man. We have you on all the time, but I never get tired of chatting to you, bro.
Yep, it was fun. I can talk for hours.
Yeah.
And I do.
Yeah, man. This is another long one. It's like another hour and 40 ep. It's pretty much the standard length of the eps now are an hour and 40. It's weird. But, hoping to have something a little different next week. Maybe I'm not going to let you, the listener, in on it, but maybe I'll have a little chat with Hamby before we finish and give him a little bit of heads up of
see what you're cooking up.
Oh god, I've just given something. Okay, I should probably shut up there. Guys, it's been really great. We'll be back next Tuesday with another episode of DudeWutPodcast, and back on Friday for an episode of DWP Gaming. Until then, take it easy, stay safe, and we'll see you all later. See you later. Dude, what? Sup.